Happy day, everyone. This is just a quick little tutorial on how this rocket sled works. Now, in reality, this would be nearly impossible to get a friction off or an air drag off situation to work out, but it's really nice because in physics, some of these things are so hard to understand that if we can get rid of certain things, it makes it a lot easier to see how something is functioning. So a quick little thing here, we've got this +1 and -1, and what happens is that actually changes my normal force and my weight. This is your Fn, this is Fg. And so the force of gravity versus the normal force. And the normal force is basically just opposing gravity, and so that's the reason why when we are on the ground we're not actually sinking down beneath the ground, because that normal force is actually keeping us up. And so just keeping that in mind, that it always works in the opposite direction. And so I can increase that and I can decrease that. This right here is just telling me, giving me velocity. And now I do want to make sure you understand this uses positives and negatives, but in reality, we would say to the left or to the right. So we would actually have a direction rather than having a negative sign on there. So what I'm going to do is I can also click my friction off or my friction on. Same thing with air drag. You can see that it gives me two sizes of a parachute that I can use for air drag. So let's turn those both off in the beginning here. And I'm just going to slide this. And when I do this, I am applying a force. Okay, and so you can see that it says that it's 50 newtons of force being applied. Now, I can come back and I can apply a force in the opposite direction. I want you to notice that the sledder is actually moving this way, but my applied force is moving in the opposite direction. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind. And now this is not coming to a stop. That was not coming to a stop. So I want you to understand that coming to a stop means that the sledder stops and completely stops moving. So in some parts of this, I will ask you to be able to do that. And so I do want you to notice what is happening to the velocity as well. I'm going to bring this back so that now I'm not applying any force. So again, what the arrow tells you is it's not telling you what direction the sled is moving. Again, I can turn my arrow to the right. My sled's not moving to the right now, okay? So I can have my sled moving to the left, but my arrow is actually pointing to the right. So keep in mind that the arrow is just telling you what forces are being exerted. So right now, I only have the normal force on the weight of the sled. I don't have anything else. I could go ahead and I could turn friction on and check to see what happens when I turn friction on. Or I can turn it off. But what I really want you to pay attention to is what happens to the velocity, okay? So if there's no right or left arrow, what happens to the velocity versus what happens if I move the arrow to the left? What do you notice? Or what happens if I move the arrow to the right? What happens to the velocity? Versus, again, what happens when there's no velocity added? So make sure you play around with it. The lab is going to ask you questions just to basically get you a better understanding of what's happening with these arrows and how this works. And I hope this was helpful for you. Have a great day.